Well, hey fans, welcome back to another movie review, and today we're talking about Deadpool and Wolverine. So, Deadpool and Wolverine is a buddy superhero action movie directed by Shawn Levy, starring Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, Emma Corrin, and Matthew Macfadyen. It's the third film in the Deadpool franchise, and this is the first Deadpool film that takes place kind of within the MCU. And this story follows Wade Wilson. He's working as a used car dealer. He's a little down on his luck. He's separated from Vanessa, and then at his birthday party, he is whisked to the TVA because they have a mission for him. And it turns out basically that the TVA has granted Deadpool sacred timeline status. They're going to take him from his timeline and pop him in the MCU, and hopefully he can be happy. And of course, he really loves that. He wants to bring his friends with him, but they say, no, it's just you. You're going to stay. Your timeline is dying, and they're just all going to die with it. And he's like, well, why is it dying? And there's this new thing brought up called a timeline anchor or something like that. And the anchor for his timeline was Wolverine, who died in Logan. So once Logan died in Logan, the timeline just starts to wither away. And apparently that process can take thousands of years. And Paradox, who's Matthew Macfadyen's character, he doesn't want to wait that long, and he's trying to speed up the process. And I don't want to spoil too much in terms of like what's going on there, but basically Deadpool thinks he can save his timeline by replacing Wolverine in his timeline and finding another, and that's how he finds Wolverine in this movie. So I have to say, thoughts on did I enjoy this movie? I did. I laughed out loud a couple times. There were times where I even clapped. When I tell you the cameos in this movie are great. The cameos are great, and they work, and they're funny. The fourth wall breaks, the self-referential jokes, it all works. There's not as many cameos as I thought there were going to be. And apparently Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Feige, they actually shot fake scenes and had certain people say certain things just to throw the public off of who is actually going to be in this movie. They did a great job with that, because I can definitely tell you, I even posted some stuff about some screenshots I found online. They were fake apparently, or the person's just not in the movie, so that was surprising. But yeah, those who do appear, one of my favorite Marvel characters of all time appears in the movie, and it is fantastic. Although I do have some issues with some of these appearances, but I'll mention that in my spoiler review. But like I said, I enjoy the cameos, I enjoy the jokes, the needle drops, the use of music throughout this movie is great. It worked every time it came on scene. The opening scene to Deadpool and Wolverine is probably one of the best opening scenes in the MCU. The use of bye 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 is amazing. That's all I'm going to say. I really did enjoy that scene. I enjoyed Ryan Reynolds' version of Deadpool, all of his versions of Deadpool that you see. I'm not going to say how many you do see, but I did enjoy it. He, of course, he owns his character, and he does a good job. Again, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. This version of Wolverine is basically the same as all the other Wolverines. And the universe he comes from, we don't really learn much about. And he has a backstory. We find out exactly what happened in his universe that makes him so hated. And I thought it was a really weak backstory. It's really poor. I wish they kind of did something totally different with that and dove more into his universe. But yeah, just seeing him in action, seeing him fight alongside Deadpool, seeing him fight with Deadpool, those are some of the greatest action scenes in the movie, some of the funniest scenes in the movie. Like I said, I think that the chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman works well. It worked well way back in X-Men Origins Wolverine. And I think they just take to a whole nother level in this film. And I can't wait to see what they do in the future, because I'm pretty sure, after watching this movie, I'm probably about 60% sure they're going to be on screen together again. But yeah, the things that, didn't work for me, and even though I did enjoy the film, I did not enjoy it as much as I thought it was going to be. I really hyped this up to be like an in-game level event for Fox in my head, and it's not really that. It is really more on par with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness for me. So in terms of a score, I'm going to give it a 7.5, which is a very decent score. That is a good movie to watch. But yeah, it is nowhere near as big and grand as I thought it was going to be. The story, yeah, it is pretty weak in my personal opinion. I thought they could have done a lot more with it. They could have dove a lot deeper into certain characters' motivations and backstories. They could have padded that runtime a little bit. It's barely over 2 hours, and I like my movies longer. Like something like 2.5, something closer to Civil War would have been great. The effects in this movie are pretty bad, like shockingly bad. Like there's an effect early on where it looks wonky, But because of what's going on, you can let it slide. It's like, okay, I kind of get why this kind of looks this way, but it's okay. But as you go through the movie and you see like the effects on Wolverine, the effects on the blood, the effects in some of these fight sequences, it's like this film wasn't ready, which is shocking considering how they pushed everything else out of the way just to leave this for this year. The effects should have been like perfect. And of course, some of the effects, like I said, they're meant to be off because of a joke or whatever. But some of those in the fight scene should not have looked that bad, and it was really disappointing to see that. Deadpool Core is in the movie. Deadpool Core is great. Lady Deadpool, who we've seen in the trailers, great. I don't remember who actually played Lady Deadpool. I know people wonder if it's Blake Lively or Taylor Swift, and you know, it shows up in the credits, but I really didn't pay attention. So yeah, she was funny in the scene that she was in. I think this is clearly a product of Marvel before the shift to, you know, focusing more on making better projects. Not to say, like I said, I gave it a good score. I don't think this movie's bad, but I think there are some like inconsistencies and some plot holes with, you know, stuff that went on within Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Loki, even though they mentioned Loki, like the show, like how the TVA works now and what ripping somebody out of their timeline does, like incursions and stuff like that. Like I feel like incursions should be happening with like how Wolverine and Deadpool are jumping timelines, but they don't mention that. There's not really a connection to the grander multiverse or, you know, like moving towards Secret Wars or anything of that nature. But they do make fun of it. And I think that's kind of the point. Like they make a lot of jokes at Marvel's expense about how it's a low period, how this multiverse stuff isn't working, etc., etc. So I don't quite know what this film is supposed to mean for moving the multiverse saga forward, so to speak. But yeah, overall I enjoyed the film. Would I have loved to see more X-Men characters? I think I would have. The ones that you see, they are really shown in like one scene, and that's it. But yeah, so many surprises. X-23, it's a great surprise. Of course, she was in the most recent trailer, and like I said, I won't spoil all the others, especially with my most favorite Marvel character showing up. But yeah, and I would like to see what Marvel's plans for Deadpool moving forward are, whether he's going to join the MCU proper, whether we're actually going to get that Deadpool and Spider-Man movie, which I would like to be Deadpool for. I think Deadpool and Spider-Man should be the next movie moving forward after, of course, Spider-Man 4, where he teams up with Daredevil, hopefully. But yeah, if you like Deadpool, if you like the MCU, if you like fun popcorn movies, I think this is a movie that you'll enjoy. It's the middle of the summer, the kids are out of school. You can take your kids to see this movie. Maybe not too young. There are some sexual jokes and stuff of that nature. I mean, violence is violence. Yeah, people show their kids violence all the time. But yeah, some of the jokes may go over the younger kids' heads, but some of those early teens, they might understand some of those jokes. I'd like to thank you again for joining me for this movie review. Remember, you can find the full review on YouTube and the website, flipfrogllc.com/flixfrog. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit. And please, pretty please, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.